Hello and welcome to What's Playing Tonight, the show where one of us picks a movie, the rest of us cannot say no, and then we talk about it. I have with me today the silver-eyed wolf himself.
Also known as Nate. How are you?
I'm doing good, and I also have the Lime Knight in the limelight.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Raceland.
And then I guess I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Tyler Stans. Real quick, Nate, what have you been watching?
So I've been getting back into some anime that I'd been putting off. Spy X Family. I watched the first season of that. I would recommend it, especially if you like kind of like a slice of life comedy with like James Bond Get Smart style spy thriller in it.
Yeah, I watch I watch most of my anime on Crunchyroll, and I've been just kind of waiting for it to catch up to the full season to binge.
Yeah, and it's a pretty fun anime. I had some really good, genuine laughs from it.
It looks good. I've heard nothing but great things about it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the second season to be dubbed. And also, I watched on Netflix Comey Can't Communicate. And it is one that someone else had recommended to me, and I'm glad they did. But it is mainly an anime I would say is good for like background. Like if you're like looking or doing something else, then put this on. Yeah, it's a relaxing anime.
All right.
Gotcha.
And it's about a girl who just has trouble talking, but everyone thinks she's extremely good at communicating because she's so popular. So, yeah, I would recommend both of those animes.
Very good.
How about y'all?
Very good. Raceland?
I started the second season of Dr. Stone because it's finally dubbed on Crunchyroll.
Nice.
And I'm quite enjoying that. That's a really good anime. And something I've been putting off has been season 2 of The Punisher is now owned by Disney.
Oh.
So I'm about halfway through the season, and I've been really loving this. So.
I never actually finished season 2 of The Punisher.
Yeah, I watched all of season 1, and I just kind of got caught up in other shows.
Well, I watched the new Jurassic World movie like I threatened to last week.
Oh, nice. How is that?
You know, it was fine.
It can't be worse than the second one, right?
It was cool to see all the characters from the first movie again, but I think they're really kind of they need
stretching it.
They kind of need to come up with something new when it comes to that.
Oh, don't worry, they are Cretaceous Park. It's gonna be the next.
That word is Cretaceous.
Cretaceous. I can't pronounce things, but you know what I meant.
I do know what you mean. Now, boys, it's Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
And we're Marvel fans, yeah.
I'm comic book fans.
I'm a comic book fan, though I will say I am woefully unprepared for this thing.
That's okay. We'll just take this one by one. We'll talk about it because they announced some of this stuff was already announced. We'll just go through what's coming out. So I'm on Marvel.com. We got a She-Hulk trailer.
Yeah.
Yes.
That looks pretty good.
I do love She-Hulk in the comics.
I haven't really read too many of her comics, so I've mainly just kind of seen her as cameos in other people's comics.
She's a great.
Yeah, I like her as a character. The trailer that they showed, I'm definitely looking forward to watching this. It looks fun. Looks like they've done a pretty good job of casting. And so, yeah, I'm massively looking forward to this.
Now, Disney Plus has burned me in the past with Ms. Marvel about being excited for one of my favorite comic characters. So I'm hoping by this trailer, I haven't seen anything negative yet. So it looks promising.
What are your thoughts, Ty?
I think it looks fun. It looks funny. The CGI for She-Hulk could be a little bit better, but once I get used to it, I probably won't care about that.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, but it's fine.
Yeah, it just looks kind of off to me. I can't quite put why, but I think it's because since she's supposed to look kind of like a human instead of the Hulk, who's this big
brutish
monster. The fact that she's supposed to look more realistic, I think, makes her look unrealistic. But like I said, once you get
Once you
used to it,
adjust.
yeah, I think it'll be all right.
Well, the thing with She-Hulk is in the comic books they sexualize her a lot, so I think maybe that's why they're making it look more human-like.
Well, no. Well, her character is that she's supposed to be like she's supposed to be more in control of her other form, while the Hulk was more he would lose control. That was the
Right.
whole point. So she was
But-
the antithesis of the Hulk style.
But Nate, you can't deny what I said is true.
Oh yeah, no, that the writers, the artists, everybody involved with She-Hulk comics and stuff have already pretty much acknowledged that they sexualized the character a ton.
I wouldn't expect that to be as prevalent on a Disney
No.
Plus show in 2022. So I don't know. We'll
Though-
see.
Who knows, though? We got a lot of TVMA and rated R stuff coming to.
That's
Though
true.
they also did do like in the teaser trailer where she like picks up the guy to go carry him to bed, and
Yeah, and then like it's on top of him.
yeah,
I
she's
don't remember the
definitely
first
being
trailer.
more like the Dommy in this little interaction.
That show is coming out on August 17th, so that's pretty soon.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
The next thing we got on the list, Secret Invasion, spring
Oh, cool.
2023. That's gonna be like Nick Fury and that guy's name Talos or Talos, the Skrull from Captain Marvel.
I think Talos, but I'm not positive.
Dude, I barely remember that movie, Miss Captain Marvel.
So we don't know too much about that. Obviously, Secret Invasion was a storyline in the comics where Skrulls were like impersonating and replacing important people in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, they were trying to take control.
I think She-Hulk was one of them, actually.
She-Hulk was one. I think what Miss Invisible Woman was one. I think.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't expect to see as many like popular characters in this show because, well, just how it is and how expensive these actors are. And
Yeah.
I just got a thought. It's way out there, but like everybody's like, oh, now that Steve Rogers is gone, will we ever see him as a cameo? What if a Skrull impersonates him, and that's why he's a cameo in a movie or something?
I
maybe.
mean, anybody who knows Steve Rogers in the MCU universe, pretty much knows that he is now an old man who's retired. So
I don't know. I'm just saying it could happen.
yeah, I will say like if like a Captain America just started showing up in public, and the masses that may not know that he's now an old man,
Exactly.
that could work. But then it'd be interesting. Do you have any hopes for this? Like anything that you're wanting to see from this, guys?
Just some cool spy stuff, I guess.
I mean, I was never really interested in the Skrulls in the comics, so I'm pretty indifferent about it.
I would need to see a trailer to see what the show actually is before
Agreed.
I can say anything about it. Because, like I said, just because we know what happens in the comics doesn't mean we know what's going to happen in the show.
Yeah, they've proven that comics don't matter when it comes to the MCU.
Well, yeah, okay. Next on the list, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania, the world's greatest grandma, that's Scott Lang, and the rest of the Ant fam meets their greatest foe yet, Kang, the Conqueror, arriving in theaters February 17th, 2023.
I'm actually excited about this one.
I haven't seen too much about it, but I am interested because I love what they've done with the Ant-Man movie so far.
Yeah,
the Ant-Man movies for me were pretty middle tier. They're fun, but what I like about this is it's introducing Kang, who's supposed to be the next Thanos, like the next real big bad.
It's not introducing him. He was, or a variant
no.
of him was introduced in the
Exactly.
Loki season.
A variant of him was introduced. This is supposed to be the Kang.
Maybe. There's a lot of Kangs.
All I'm saying is that this could be the Kang that's supposed to be the next big bad. That's why I'm excited for
Blue
it.
Kang?
I'm
Not Liu
curious
Kang from Mortal Kombat, Blue Kang.
Yeah, Blue
I'm
Kang.
curious if it's the Kang that takes over the what was the organization in Loki season?
The TVA.
series?
Yeah, the TVA.
I wonder if it's the Kang that took over the TVA.
So I really liked the first Ant-Man. I don't remember too much about Ant-Man and the Wasp. It kind of came out after Infinity War, so my thoughts were still on that movie. But yeah, I'm excited to see this. I do believe that MODOK is supposed to be in this movie also.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, didn't they do a series with MODOK with
There's
an
there's a
animation?
MODOK show on Hulu. I think it got canceled though.
Oh, I wonder if it was like tied into like MCU events or if it was just kind of standalone.
It was just kind of standalone.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that looks pretty cool. Next but just another thing we already knew about, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming to theaters May 5th, 2023.
Yeah, that's another one I'm excited for, but I also haven't really seen anything about it other than what was
Oh no, just
shown in
literally
Thor: Love
all
and
we
Thunder.
have is the title.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Before we saw Thor and before we knew anything about Thor: Love and Thunder, I was so hyped for Guardians 3 because I'm like, dude, it's gonna be a Guardians movie featuring Thor. It's gonna be a big deal, and they kind of got rid of that in the new movie.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind them doing a like prequel series on Disney Plus of just like mini episodes of their adventures with Thor. Like, I think that would be pretty cool.
I don't see that happening at all.
No. could do, like, an
I don't see
animated
it
one.
happen. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Not like
Yeah.
with the live action characters, but like if they ever want to revisit that little spot or that little area of time, I think they would be able to pull off some pretty cool adventures.
Yeah, I guess that'd be cool.
Next we got an actual trailer for this one. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That's coming out November 11th this year.
Lots of thoughts on that trailer.
I thought the trailer was pretty good, actually.
Same. I liked it a lot.
It was a good trailer.
I'll tell you what I didn't expect to ever see in my lifetime, I think, is fucking Namor.
Yeah. So they had already announced that Namor was going to be a part of it. They even revealed the actor in his Namor outfit, going with a more Aztec look for the Atlanteans, which I think is a really cool interpretation.
I've got some thoughts on Namor. First of all,
thoughts?
The two little things on the side of his head, that better not be some kind of breather that he needs to be on land, because Namor's whole thing is that like he could be in both sea and land. He's the only Atlantean that can do that.
I gotta admit, I wasn't looking too closely at
Yeah,
his stuff.
I don't know. Somebody on TikTok pointed that out to me. That's why I even brought it up.
You gotta get off TikTok, bro.
I thought they were just like piercings because like Aztecs were really they were into the like bulky jade
It could be
piercings and whatnot. So I just thought that's what that was.
And people who don't know Namor from the comics is not Aquaman. He is a more brutal asshole version of Aquaman.
Namor is a very poor representation of bipolar disorder.
I don't like Namor at all because I've read him in the comics and he treats the Fantastic Four terribly.
Yeah. He's supposed to be kind of like a villain for the most part, but then he switches to being a hero occasionally, from what I understand. And yeah, I think he was supposed to be the first comic book mutant like character.
So, stepping away, Ty, what is your thoughts on them straight up just killing off Black Panther?
I've always thought this movie was going to be interesting because how do you like continue that story when the actor that played the main character passes away so suddenly? So I'm interested to see like how they take this and like what they do to explain why Chadwick Boseman isn't around. But yeah, like I said, I watched the trailer. I couldn't really tell you what's going to happen in the movie, but it looked like there's some pretty good action. I'm interested to see the is Namor, is that Atlantis?
Yes.
Yeah,
he's the king of
interested to
Atlantis.
see- I'm interested to see the Atlantis stuff and how it comes out.
Nate, real quick before we step away, how did you want them to handle Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman passing?
Well, I think from what we've seen with the trailer, from what it seems like they're handling it, it's pretty much the way I would have wanted it. Is they're going to try to, I guess, explain how T'Challa passed away and the grieving process of everyone close to him and the whole Kingdom of Wakanda grieving, and then moving forward in a positive light, as in trying to honor him. So it's kind of like in my opinion, with the Fast and Furious, where they tried to honor Paul Walker scene.
Well, they showed at the end of the trailer, at the very last second of the trailer, they showed a Black Panther with a claw out, but they didn't show who it was.
Oh, it's probably Shuri.
Yeah, that's probably his sister.
It's got to be Shuri, right?
Yeah,
because she becomes the Black Panther in the comics.
I know they do, but one thing I was always wanting to happen, but I knew it never would, with the multiverse opening up, I was like, maybe they could do either a variant of Black Panther, or what I really wanted was them to somehow bring back Killmonger as Black Panther, because he was a big part in the What If series, and it would have been like a redemption for Killmonger's character.
I think at this point, they're probably still trying to be respectful to the
and
legacy of Chadwick Boseman. We might see something like that further on down the line, especially if they want to ever do the Black Panther and Storm relationship in the future.
Especially with the mutants coming.
This could be further down the line, because even though recent events in Marvel TV shows, I won't spoil. Oh wait, we already know, because I did tell Nate. So Ms. Marvel's a mutant. The first one that they've kind of really announced. But even with that, they did not announce any X-Men properties or besides the animated show. So further down the line, we could see something like that. But right now, I think they're just going to let kind of Shuri take up the mantle and just make it kind of a legacy type movie.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So there is one thing I am looking forward to seeing with Namor, is how they deal with the wings on his feet.
That's been a giant argument on TikTok.
That is something that has always kind of turned me away from Namor, because I hate the way he looks with the wings on his feet. It just looks ridiculous, in my opinion. So I'm just curious how they're going to do that.
Ty, if you don't know, he has wings on his feet because he's a mutant.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't care.
It's
that's his mutant ability.
Little tiny wings.
I wonder if they'll let him say Imperious Rex.
Probably not.
So what's next, Ty?
Next up, we got a follow-up on Hawkeye, the Echo show.
Okay.
Echo is that character introduced in Hawkeye. I do believe that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are reprising their characters of Daredevil and Fisk in that show as well.
Heck yeah. I actually super enjoyed Hawkeye.
I thought Hawkeye was fun.
I think it gets a lot more flack than it deserves, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a boring, guy with a bow and arrow show. And I was like,
Nate.
I liked it. It was funny. It had good action scenes, and it had good character development for all three of the characters of Hawkeye, Bishop, and Yelena. Black Widow. Yeah, Elena. So I thought it was pretty good.
Next, big news, Loki season 2, summer 2023.
Yeah.
We knew it was coming, we just didn't know when.
It's going to be crazy.
Hopefully it will
off at Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping it just ups up the ante.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. First Loki was great. This one better be extreme.
And then something that we talked about a couple weeks ago, Blade, the new Marvel Blade movie, arriving in theaters November 3rd, 2023.
No, okay.
So yeah,
so
next
excited.
Year.
So excited.
I'm excited to see it too. I want to see what they can do differently.
Do you think there'll be any motherfuckers skating uphill or anything like that?
I hope so. I really hope so.
It would be a nice little nod.
You get one F word in the PG-13 movies, and it's that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, not only for Blade, but I'm hoping to see what they do with the Black Knight as well. Like, I would
And-
like to see more of him.
It's Blade. I really hope they make it rated R.
Well, fun fact that just happened this week on Disney Plus. They just added Logan, Deadpool, and Deadpool 2.
Yep.
Right.
we
So
got
it's like
R-rated
please!
content on Disney Plus. So you never know, maybe.
Yeah.
We
There-
got Ironheart.
Okay.
I'm
Re-
excited for this one.
Riri Williams, who will actually first appear in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and then her own solo series is fall 2023.
Yeah, people don't know much about Ironheart, but I'm excited.
I don't know much about her either, but I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah.
He's basically what Iron Man could have been if he's not a condescending douchebag.
Yeah. I have seen her a few times in the comics, but I don't know really much about her or her backstory, really.
Yeah, I don't know much about her backstory either.
Next up, we got Agatha, Coven of Chaos, which I believe was originally titled House of Harkness.
Yes.
Coven of Chaos, Winter 2023. How we feeling on that?
I'm
What
curious.
can they do?
Well, so when they
It's gotta be.
changed-
It's gotta be a prequel, right?
Well, no, because so with the House of Harkness, that is what I thought, that it would be kind of a prequel and setting it with like how Agatha got to the point to where she was trying to get the chaos magic from Wanda. But with the change in the title, the Coven of Chaos, I kind of wonder if maybe she's trying to bring back Wanda.
Or maybe she's
what-
trying to train a bunch of witches up. Who knows?
Now, obviously, spoilers for Multiverse of Madness, but like, did Wanda die? Did we see her die?
We didn't
didn't see a
see her
body.
body, therefore the rule of
But-
comic book is she probably not dead. But
Yeah. She did bring an entire like top mountain temple on top of her.
But other than that, we don't
So-
really know anything about this besides the title. The new title.
Yeah.
Next up, Daredevil: Born Again. The Man Without Fear returns, with both Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio reprising their roles as Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk, respectively. This will come out spring 2024.
Best
It's a,
Netflix Marvel show ever was Daredevil.
it's a long wait for you guys, huh?
That's
I
a
know.
long, long wait.
Now, I have questions for you guys. We got Daredevil back. What do you think are the chances that we'll get Luke Cage, Punisher, recast Iron Fist? Nobody cares about that. What do you think about all that?
Well, I think the chances are pretty good, actually.
Even for Punisher?
even for Punisher.
Because that's going to have to be rated R.
Well, you know,
Well, so
like I
is
said,
Deadpool.
They just put,
Yeah.
they're saying that Deadpool 3 is still going to be rated R. They just put Deadpool and Deadpool 2 and Logan on Disney Plus, so they're getting more comfortable with that. It all depends on the actors' schedules at this point.
Yeah.
Because the guy,
have been
I don't
hearing-
remember.
I have been hearing some rumors about Kristen Ritter showing up soon as Jessica Jones, but we'll see.
I don't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays the Punisher is by far the best Punisher we've seen on screen as Punisher.
John Bernthal.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
We've had 3 different versions of Punisher, 2 of which were movies, and this was a show. And
Four.
4. There's 4.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You never forget Dolph Lundgren.
Oh well, this guy's definitely the TV show is definitely the best version of the Punisher.
I can agree with that. Speaking of long waits, Captain America: New World Order, a completely new movie with Sam Wilson as Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, arriving in theaters May 3rd, 2024.
God.
Yeah, that is pretty long wait.
Although we
Um,
thought Thor: Love and Thunder is like 3 years from now, and now it's like that just happened.
It does.
Yeah, I will
does
say,
seem to
like-
be moving fast. Yes.
Yeah. It does not feel like this month or this year is
Now,
this far ahead.
The description on this next one. Tell me what you guys think. This is Thunderbolts, an exciting new group of heroes arriving in
God.
theaters July 26, 2024.
No, it's Marvel Suicide Squad. It's what the Thunderbolts are.
Okay. All right.
And we should have General Ross, Red Hulk, on there.
Well,
and I hope to God We do.
Well, unfortunately, William Hurt passed away.
Yeah, but that doesn't. We could recast.
I was
mean, we
talking
could
to
re-
him. I was talking to you. Yeah, we could. But I was talking to a buddy about mine about how they could do Red Hulk now that the actor for General Ross has passed away. And I was like, well, they can always go like um, maybe he had a son or something.
Yeah, that could work.
Like he was like, and his reason for turning into the Red Hulk is because his dad never got his revenge or whatever. I don't know. They could do anything.
His dad was obsessed with the Hulk.
His dad was obsessed with the Hulk and it killed him. So now he's wanting to kill the Hulk. We'll see. Something I'm really excited about. Fantastic Four, Marvel's First Family, arrives in theaters November 8th, 2024, and production kicks off next year.
Wait, is it actually called Marvel's First Family?
Yeah, no. No.
No. Oh, I'm like,
No.
is that the actual title?
No, in the description, they call it Marvel's First Family.
Oh, okay. I was
But
like,
no,
how
it's just called
cheesy.
Fantastic Four. There's no cast or anything announced. We don't know if John Krasinski's going to be Mr. Fantastic. I'd be okay with that.
I think the chances are low at this point. I think he was just doing a one-off thing.
I would want him to return.
I do too,
want
but
them to explore that.
I don't think it's going to happen personally. I think that he did this to please the fans, but I think they're going to do that as the variant.
Well, we'll see. And then
Emily Blunt as Invisible Woman would be great, I think.
They'd have great chemistry. I'll give them that.
That's for sure.
Actually, if you've ever seen A Quiet Place, which was directed by John Krasinski and also has Emily Blunt and himself, they're a good pairing. I guess they are because they're married. So
they're married.
And then
they bring that off-screen chemistry onto the on-screen.
They do. And then I think for me, the most surprising news yesterday: Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 2025.
God, it feels like it's like 20 years away, man.
And even more surprising than that, we'll talk about this like in conjecture. Avengers: Secret Wars, November 7th, 2025. 2 Avengers movies in the same year.
It's probably going to be like a part 1 and part 2 thing.
Oh, for sure.
So
it's going to be an Infinity War and Endgame type of situation.
I wonder if with the title of being the Kang Dynasty, if they will introduce young Kang who joins the Young Avengers.
Maybe.
I would be okay with that.
It's a possibility. Now, I wonder, we all know what Secret Wars is. There's been a couple of different Secret Wars. There was the one in the 80s, I think, where the Beyonder just plucked a bunch of heroes and villains and they had to fight each other. And then there was the more recent one where Dr. Doom got god powers and he basically killed the multiverse and conglomerated it all into its own thing. So I'm not sure. Well,
which one they'll take for.
The bigger news, or I guess the last bit of news, which kind of ties into this, is that this entire saga has officially been called the Multiverse Saga now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
The first was the Infinity Saga, obviously, and that ended with Endgame, and now we're in the Multiverse Saga. So maybe it is the Doctor Doom one, because maybe that's how they kind of close out the multiverse story, and they could do some interesting things with how Marvel itself rebooted the comics after Secret Wars to kind of give us fresh takes on characters that we've seen before.
Yeah, I'd be down with it.
Before we get off this topic, I've got a question. Do you think, when I think multiverse, I think like multiple Spider-Mans and stuff. Do you think there'll be any chance of an alternative Spider-Man staying in the MCU?
That is how they put that is how they got Miles Morales in the mainstream universe. So
and 2099 as well.
Yeah. So I mean, really, we won't. There's no way to know what exactly they're willing to do and what
everything is up in the air.
Yes.
It's also up to Sony as well, because they still own Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man thing is a little bit more up in the air because of Sony, but I mean, you never know. We could get like a new actor playing a younger Steve Rogers. We could get all sorts of weird stuff after they break the multiverse.
we still haven't seen Tom Cruise Iron Man.
We haven't. And then as far as DC had a Shazam trailer.
Yay, DC!
There is one other Marvel project that was revealed. The I Am Groot.
Yeah, the Groot
Oh yeah,
stuff.
I Am Groot, and there's one more after that. But what do we think of I Am Groot?
It's whatever.
I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a really fun watch. It doesn't seem. I don't think they're gonna do long stuff. I think it said it was like they're just little shorts.
And I think that's like a good way to do it because obviously Groot can only say I am Groot.
I am Groot.
But if they want to make like short little like Pixar shorts or whatever with Groot, then yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, it looked fun.
I Am Groot is going to be the easiest money Vin Diesel's ever made.
Probably.
I don't think Vin Diesel does little kid Groot's voice.
He does.
Maybe.
He does?
Yeah. He has voiced Groot in every single one of his incarnations.
Think about the millions of dollars this dude's made just saying, I am Groot.
That's true. And then the other one, Spider-Man, freshman year, an animated show coming to Disney Plus.
Mm.
I didn't see that.
Yes, it's an animated show coming to Disney Plus. And even though it's called freshman year, it does not look like it's actually the origin story for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. You might as well think of this one as another multiverse type thing because they have things like Doctor Strange is in the show, but they didn't meet until Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And Norman Osborn is in this show.
Okay, so yeah,
actually, this is okay. So I was reading about.
I wonder if it's the Andrew Garfield.
No, this is a completely different take on this. Is basically a what if show because it looks like everything I was seeing in this show is that instead of Tony mentoring Spider-Man, Osborn is.
What?
Yeah, so they could do all sorts of weird stuff with this. And actually, I think it's a cool idea, actually, for like a what if type thing. And then after that, they've announced that Spider-Man sophomore year will be the next thing. So they're gonna do the whole high school thing.
Shit.
Question: is it gonna be like the art style of What If, or is it gonna be like a more kids show?
It looks like What If art style.
Okay,
and
so
then,
it's more like a teen adult animated show.
And then actually, we do have more stuff to talk about. I can't believe this. Marvel Zombies is still going to be a thing.
They're making their own thing?
Marvel Zombies, and it is said that they will have the blood and gore that the fans expect in this show.
Wait, is it an animated show?
It's an animated show.
Is it
So
going
I
to be
wonder,
like the zombie episode of What If?
yeah,
Yes.
I wonder if it's is it going to so it's set in that universe then.
I don't know if it's set in that universe, but it is set in a universe where
like
zombies.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
That's so cool.
And then X-Men 97.
Yeah.
They
you're excited about that.
the release
Yes, I
window
am.
for X-Men 97 fall 2023, so next year.
Nate, you're going to be so disappointed in me. I never really watched the 90s X-Men. I only really watched X-Men Evolution.
Come on over. I own the whole series.
It's all on Disney Plus now.
Yeah, I don't need to come to
There you
your
go. Oh well, that's fine. Don't come over. Last time I invite you, whatever.
So Marvel really they announced a bunch of stuff actually.
Yeah,
Marvel brought their guns, man.
They
they hit
did.
the ground running.
DC just kind of was like, here's Shazam.
And it's funny because I don't think D23 has happened this year. So, I mean, we might get more Marvel stuff whenever that happens.
I still think it's the Ezra Miller thing. The DC is just kind of staying lay low in right now.
Yeah, I don't know. DC, like I said, they have a bunch. Well, like I said before we started recording, they have a lot of corporate like restructurings type of stuff going on right now. So we probably won't get like a clear plan of what they're coming out with until all of that stuff is settled. But Warner Brothers is kind of a dumpster fire, so they might never have their shit together.
And we still don't have a new Superman yet, and it's been like what, like 7 years?
Justice League was 2017.
So at least 5.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Man of Steel was 2013, I think.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Man of Steel was, like I said, like 7-8 years ago.
So now that we've spent 34 minutes talking about Marvel
and a minute on DC.
and a minute on DC, we did watch this Shazam trailer. I think it looks pretty good.
I'm looking forward to it. Looks fun.
And we also have Black Adam, so that's something else to look forward to.
I'm a little less excited for Black Adam. Shazam definitely looks
excited.
more like my thing.
I'm about equally excited for both of them.
I'm with Nate, equal.
I I have a little hesitancy for Black Adam because I know him more as a villain.
Oh yeah, easily villain.
But I could easily see them trying to go with the like anti-hero aspect of the character as well.
Well, in
Like
the comic
I
books,
think that's where they're leaning towards him.
in the comic books, he does do anti-heroes sometimes.
Yeah.
When it's strictly like, I'm protecting my people.
Yes, he is very like protecting his borders.
If I remember right, in the Justice comics, he like teams up with Batman at the end to just kind of be like, Superman's threatening my people. We need to stop him.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
we
go into
cannot
the
talk
injustice.
about the comics for DC and stuff. We've already spent almost 40 minutes on this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick though, did you guys watch the Lord of the Rings trailer?
I watched it on my phone, so I didn't.
I watched a trailer. I don't know if
Yeah.
was there a new one released.
Yeah, there was a new one that came out this week.
Oh, then I
Then
didn't
probably
see it.
not.
You know, that looks pretty good too, actually.
Yeah,
Does it?
the trailer I saw, it got me hyped, and I'm a very middle Lord of the Rings fan.
Same.
I love Lord of the Rings, and I know a lot of people are upset about it.
I love the
of stupid
original.
reasons.
I love the original trilogy, but when it takes away from like the main story and it does its own stuff, I don't care about the lore that much. So it's like
I
I probably watch it, but I'll probably just get bored. That's what I'm afraid of.
I liked both both trilogy sagas of the movies, but the book I couldn't get into the books.
No.
I like the ideas in the lore, and I'm interested to see some of them on screen. As long as like the show looks good and the acting's good, I'm there for it.
They're good
like,
fantasy ventures.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's about it for Comic-Con. Unless you guys got anything else,
I think 40
realize.
minutes.
we've lost Raceland. Just gonna pause real quick, and we got him back. Anyways, barring any technical difficulties, let's switch gears from Comic-Con and let's talk about this week's movie, 1980's Friday the 13th. So, Friday the 13th is a 1980 American slasher film produced and directed by Sean S. Cunningham, written by Victor Miller. Its plot follows a group of teenage camp counselors who are murdered one by one by an unknown killer while attempting to reopen an abandoned summer camp. And boy, are they murdered.
Yeah, they're murdered, all right.
So, real quick, have either of you ever seen this movie before you watched it for this episode?
Nope.
No. I had I think I saw Jack's death in a clip once. But other than that, I saw like maybe a couple of other scenes, like a meme of Mrs. Voorhees looking all crazy when she's talking as child Jason.
So you already knew that Mrs. Voorhees was the killer in this movie.
Yeah,
as did I.
You knew it too?
Somebody spoiled it for me on my podcast. Yeah.
So my
man.
aunt loves old horror films. And since I had no interest in it, I didn't really care if anybody spoiled these kinds of films to me. So when she would talk about it, I already knew. Pretty much.
I was really kind of hoping that you guys didn't know and were expecting Jason to show up, and then when he never did.
My wife watched the movie with me, and she didn't know. And she was just like, wait, who is she?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love that.
All right.
So, Betsy Palmer is Mrs. Voorhees.
What are you doing here all alone, dear?
I think that she plays crazy very well.
I'll give you that for sure.
Switching between her regular voice and the little Jason voice that she's talking to herself.
Kill her, mommy.
Kill her, mommy.
Can't let her go, mommy. Don't let her go. Oh, I won't, Jason, dear. I won't. Like, that, she was spot on with it.
She was. We got Adrienne King as Alice. She's the final girl of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't remember any characters' names. They were all just faces to me.
Well, she's the one who chopped off Mrs. Voorhees' head.
Yeah, which I do have a point. she owns the most brutal kill in the movie.
You think so?
Yeah, because all the other ones are like death for the most part are deaths off scene or off screen.
Agreed.
Like we see a slit across the throat, a slit into the throat, and a stab. That's about it.
Well,
All the other ones.
hold that thought, Nate.
Okay,
Because this brings us to we're just gonna do this now because we're kind of already talking about it. Best kill of the movie. Well,
I'd go with Alice.
You go with Alice.
Yeah.
I don't remember the character's name, but the one where she put the axe in the girl's face.
Oh, okay. Marcy.
Yes.
That was cool.
I wrote them in order of all the deaths in the film. There were only like 9 deaths,
and I think
not including Miss Voorhees.
Right. So Mrs. Voorhees is pretty good. Marcy's is pretty good. I think Kevin Bacon, Jack.
Yeah.
The arrow through the throat.
That was Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
That was Kevin Bacon.
No.
That was Kevin Bacon.
I only know him by name. I know he's like I know the name very well, but I don't ever associate the face.
In true horror franchise fashion, we had Johnny Depp show up in A Nightmare on Elm Street, and we have Kevin Bacon.
As a
up.
genuinely decent boyfriend.
Yeah, genuinely.
Which one is
decent
Kevin
boyfriend.
Bacon's character again?
He's Jack.
The one that dies in the bed.
The one who dies in the bed
Oh.
gets the arrow through the throat.
The sex scene guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you watch the unrated version like I did, he gets his butt pinched.
Oh.
Oh boy. I watched it on Paramount, so I don't know if that was unrated or not.
I watched it on Pluto, and I might have missed it due to so many commercials.
Yeah. And
That's why you get Paramount, Nate.
I have too many subscriptions already.
And I just rented it because I didn't feel like watching ads or signing up for Paramount.
Anytime we pick a movie, if there's any version of it to not get a commercial ad supported, I choose that version.
I should have just borrowed it from my aunt. Like, I was just stupid, I guess.
No, you're fine.
You're stupid.
So this movie it takes place at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yep. Or as the locals call it, Camp Blood or
Camp
something?
Blood.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the crazy dude? Just like, get out of here, guys!
Oh, Crazy Ralph. I love Crazy Ralph.
Crazy.
Y'all,
So
I'm gonna die. Get on out.
I will say it is in my notes. Just Ralph hanging out in the pantry.
Yeah, just hanging out in the pantry. Just
Me and my wife were like, "What the fuck is this?"
well, to be fair, he is a messenger of God.
Yeah,
Of course he is. Of
a
course.
drunk messenger of God
Very
hanging
drunk.
out in a dark pantry waiting for someone to open it and be like, yo, I'm gonna die.
And then he gets on his like 50s bike and pedals on out of there.
I think Crazy Ralph is great.
I
At
fully
first-
expected him to die.
At first, me and my wife thought that Crazy Ralph was like a survivor of like the 50s scene in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So they only mentioned that only 2 counselors die. So I included
Exactly.
them in my list.
Yes.
I assumed maybe Crazy Ralph or whatever his name is was a survivor.
Okay, so I guess.
It would make sense of why he's like, you're gonna die. You're
Like
gonna
he
die.
might have snapped due to his friends dying or
Yeah,
something.
it could have been like he literally became
Okay.
crazy because of the death of his friends.
I could see that.
It could be.
I straight up thought he was a survivor from the 50s.
Maybe he was, and they just didn't flesh it out. Who knows?
Yeah.
So that's Walt Gorney as Crazy Ralph.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in anything else. Apparently, he was in the 1976 King Kong movie.
Okay.
I don't remember him in it, but okay.
He's actually in Friday the 13th Part 2 as well.
Oh, spoilers, bro.
So he actually... Why is that
Well, you already
spoilers?
knew Ralph didn't die in this one.
I don't know. I'm just messing with you.
But yeah, he's in the next one. He survived the events of this one. So they had a bunch of... Everybody knows the plot of this movie. A bunch of camp counselors are trying to open up Crystal Lake. And they're picked off one by one by a mysterious killer who is obviously Mrs. Voorhees, who's pissed off because they let her
son.
little boy drown. They weren't paying attention. They were making love.
They were making whoopee.
They were making whoopee.
Yes.
A little hanky-panky.
So yeah, this film kind of like creates the cliches. of this type of film.
Of the summer camp slasher movie,
Yeah.
yes. It did become a big thing after this movie in particular. Now, something that you guys don't have any context for is that this movie is absolutely a ripoff of Halloween.
Is it?
Oh, yes.
I know my wife actually likes the Halloween movies.
To the point that Halloween opens up with a POV shot set in the past.
Okay.
Just like Friday the 13th opens up with a POV shot set in the past. And then it kind of branches off after that. But even like as far as the title goes, they wanted a spooky sounding day like Halloween. So they went with Friday the 13th.
The unlucky day. Yeah.
Yes, the unlucky day.
It bums me out because 13 is my favorite number. And it wasn't because of the unluckiness. It's because it's my dad's birthday.
Well, this should be your favorite horror movie then.
Yeah.
It's definitely not my favorite horror movie.
But so like the way they got this movie made was they wanted to make Halloween came out, makes a bunch of money. They're like, well, we can make something cheap, and we want to make a bunch of money too. We need a spooky day. Let's call it Friday the 13th. I think they put a billboard up with just the title, and they didn't even have a script written yet, and that's how they got the movie funded.
Okay.
Just naming it Friday the 13th?
Just naming it Friday. All they had was a name.
Getting people hyped for mystery movie. Okay.
Please tell me this movie came out on a Friday the 13th.
This movie came out on May 9th.
Yeah.
No! You could have waited like 4 days.
But
the people at the publicity were not doing their jobs on that one.
But the budget was only $550,000.
How much did it make?
Just $59.8 million.
Yeah,
so barely a profit.
Yeah, barely a profit. They had diminishing returns on that.
Yeah.
But this movie was made by it was produced and directed by Sean S. Cunningham, and it's kind of got like a lot of horror legacy in it because Sean Cunningham he had previously worked with Wes Craven, who directed Nightmare on Elm Street, on a movie called Last House on the Left, and then he was inspired by John Carpenter's Halloween. So like, there's a lot of stuff that go into it. Even though it is a ripoff, there was like, it's not like a bunch of non-horror guys wanted to rip off Halloween. It's like people that were doing stuff elsewhere saw how much this other horror movie, like how successful it was, and then they wanted to make their own take on it. And then honestly, after that flashback, it's not as much of a ripoff anymore because the cool thing about this very first one is that you never see the killer until she reveals herself. Like it's all point of view. It's all first person. And like Nate said, a lot of the deaths happen off screen.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, it's almost like you're watching like a very bloody Scooby-Doo movie or something, because it's more of a mystery than a horror movie almost.
So on that point, I do had a little spot where like throughout the majority of the film, nobody even knows anything is wrong.
Exactly.
Whatsoever. Everything is, for them and their own little situations, everything is hunky-dory. So like 5 out of 8 people are already dead by the time they're like, oh crap, something is wrong here. They still don't know what even is going on. They just know something is wrong at that point. So this person is a great sneak killer.
Oh, Mrs. Voorhees, very masterful at her craft. Also, must be one of the best archers that has ever lived.
Not just archer, weightlifter.
Yeah.
She threw a dead corpse through a window.
She did.
Yeah, she did do that.
And lifted, what was his name? Bill. Lifted him up onto the door and nailed him with arrows.
Yeah.
Like, she had to be incredibly strong.
The stealthiest and strongest killer. It is funny, like, watching some of these death scenes and then finding out that it was just this old woman doing them the whole time.
Like, for what was his name? Barry, the very first guy to die in the movie. He just gets stabbed in the gut.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Easily could see Miss Voorhees doing that. Second one, off-screen kill. Don't even really know what happens to her. Then hatchet to the face. Again, easy for an old lady, probably. Then it just jumps to, like, lifting a person up onto a door, apparently nailing them with arrows, and, oh man, finding out that it is, or knowing that it is an old woman doing these kills, just, it's hard to register sometimes.
It is, and also,
You know the scene where the couple's having sex in the cabin,
Yeah.
and there's a dead body above them. I 100% thought that they were gonna find the body, and they never did.
No.
Yeah, so I was a little, like, I guess because they were distracted with each other.
In the heat of passion.
Yeah.
And
So not, like, smelling blood.
yeah,
Because
that's true.
his throat was slit. He probably bled a lot.
Well, you see, Nate, and I can explain this.
Okay.
Now you see, they're out in the middle of the woods. There's a lot of allergens present, and it turns out they were
okay,
all
stuffed
congested
nose.
and they had stuffed nose, and they couldn't smell the corpse that was
That
directly
must be
above
it.
them while they were fucking.
Yeah. And then blood just drips on him for like one. He's like, what? And then dead.
Yeah.
I also want to know, you were talking about her strength. What did she do with all the bodies?
She displays
Wait a minute.
them creatively.
Yeah, she
Well,
puts,
not just that. Because they went to check on the couple after they had died already, and their beds were empty. And they're like, where are they at? I thought they were in here. So what did she do with the bodies?
Yeah, she probably threw them in a closet or something.
yeah. So she hung Steve up in the trees by his feet, apparently, because he like just drops head first while Alice is running away. Like, perfect timing on Mrs. Voorhees' part for psychological warfare. She apparently stashes Brenda's body so that she can throw it through a window at some point. Stashes Annie's body in the car. Leaves Bill's body pinned to the door. So yeah, she's a master at psychological warfare as well as just slaughtering.
That's another, we'll call it a ripoff thing from Halloween. It's not as much as the theatricality of Michael Myers when he stages bodies to scare people, but it is definitely something that they kind of took from that movie. Although the other stuff, like just throwing the bodies through the window, that's all Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, everyone dies except Alice, who actually does the thing that everyone always says when you're watching, just cut their head off, and she actually cuts the person's head off.
Yeah.
I've got something to say about that.
Okay, maybe it's the same thing for me.
Okay. So one of the big things I have on my notes is after finding out that the mom is the killer, the last girl, what's her name again? Alice.
Alice.
She had so many chances to just end it and kill the killer.
She did.
Like, so many, but she kept running away. Oh,
Yeah.
Like, she literally knocked her down, threw her down, stood over her body for a couple seconds, and was like, and ran away. I'm like, you have a weapon in your hand. Fucking kill her.
Okay. So it is pretty much the same thing. One moment in particular, like, I was really impressed with Alice when she was afraid, ran to the cabin, grabbed a rope, tied the door shut. I was like, okay, that quick thinking. Good job, Alice. And then lost those points when she has a gun pointed at Mrs. Voorhees
And walks away.
Not just walks away, panics and throws the gun at Mrs. Voorhees.
There was no ammo in that gun.
Yeah, there's no ammo in the gun.
That's why she was trying to open the lockbox, because there was no ammo.
Okay.
The ammo was all locked up.
But
Okay.
I also saw a point. It's like there was a point in the house where she knocks Mrs. Voorhees down, and she's all on the ground, on like the broken table or whatever, and she runs to the Jeep, sees a dead body, and runs away. Move the body, start the car, and leave. What the? That would have been easy.
I do agree with that. Like, she should have, but I can understand if she's having like a panic moment.
Okay, if I see a dead body, I freak out. If I see a dead body while being chased by a murderer, I'm still moving the body and getting the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Miss Voorhees might have had the keys.
That's true.
I don't know. I would have at least checked instead of just panicking and running. There's so many times this chick could have just ended it.
That's true, but have you ever killed anyone, Raceland?
I have not, so I'm just talking about what ifs.
I know. But it's just one of those things where she's frightened. She's probably never seen all the slasher movies that were made in the up to our modern view and our modern lens. So this is all weird shit that no one's ever experienced before in their lives.
And these are her friends.
And these are her friends.
Except Annie.
Except Annie, poor Annie.
Annie was just like a hitchhiker, I guess, that got hired.
I also have one more note about Alice. At the very end of the movie, she chops the chick's head off. Why does she just randomly get in a canoe and just paddle out to the middle of the lake?
Yeah, she's probably in shock. She's tired.
I get it. It was
to chill
it was
out.
just. I get it was to set up, the scene at the end with the body coming out. But like,
so
looking at it through her point of view, there's no reason for her to get into fucking canoe. At that point, I would have looked in the car and gotten the hell out of there.
Okay, so real quick, I may have missed that scene due to like a commercial or something. Did it actually show her like paddle into the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more like she got into the canoe and she kind of paddled her in and then probably just drifted to the
That's what I was thinking. Like, the adrenaline, once she was out of danger in her mind, adrenaline just left. Like, she pretty much collapsed. So she just got into the nearest seat area and it drifted into the lake is what I thought.
I just thought it was the most random shit ever.
Well, did either of you know that little boy Jason was going to jump out of the water?
Not at all. Had no idea.
Did it get you
Again,
or your wife?
I saw a meme.
Yeah, we were just like, what the f...
This funny thing about that jump scare is that I've seen this movie a million times, and I can never quite I can never remember the exact moment where Jason jumps out of the water. Because they don't set it up in the music or anything. It just kind of happens. Like, go on.
I have a question. So, obviously, this is like future movies and stuff, but is Jason Voorhees supposed to be like a supernatural being, or is it just a guy in a mask?
Well, you know what?
Say so.
Nah.
I always assumed it was just a dude in a mask killing people.
You know what? At this point in time, he's just a dude in a mask.
But obviously, it's the corpse coming out of the river or the lake. Like,
look, without getting
the
into
two
too
movies
many
I
spoilers,
watched, he was a
then we'll
supernatural being.
Okay, so I'm oblivious to this franchise. I don't know anything about it. That's why the only reason I asked.
He, for the first 5 movies, is just a guy.
All right, let's not get into spoilers and stuff because we might be picked on the line.
I don't want to get too into spoilers or anything there, but for now, just know that Jason is just a guy.
Okay. It's just that saying that the ending scene doesn't make any sense.
Well, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah,
no.
It literally, because at first she got up in the hospital like, ah! I'm like, oh, was it a dream? Like, what?
So it's important to note that they didn't really have a plan for sequels at first, but this movie also made $59.8 million.
So, like, money.
Yeah.
But this is not something that ever gets explained. But,
okay, so it's just a one-off kind of thing.
And this isn't really a spoiler, but obviously Jason is the killer in the next movie, and he's a full-grown man. Right.
He's not a little child going like, killer, killer.
Yeah, so like, it's just a weird thing where the part of him jumping in the water, that is just a dream.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's just a dream, but it still doesn't explain the fact why Mrs. Voorhees is so upset about her son being died, and Jason, has been hiding in the woods for 20 years? Like,
yeah.
But it's like I said, it's never explained, but Jason is in the next movie, and he is just a regular guy.
Okay.
So
Yeah, those are the only 2 talking points I had written down.
do you have more talking points, Nate?
Just like little nitpicks, really. Nothing really important. For one, a nitpick is the scene where they have the snake, where she's like freaks out about the snake in the
Yeah.
room, and they all come in and they're like, "Oh, we need to kill it. Move the bed. Just
They
move
did-
the bed."
They destroyed that room for no reason.
They destroyed that bed for no reason. They jumped on the bed, broke the bed, when they just moved the bed.
I have a separate nitpick about that scene.
All right, what was it?
They killed a real snake.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's not a good thing, but you know. Like
So that's why it looks so realistic.
yeah, it's very realistic.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a snake guy.
Yeah.
I
But killing
prefer-
things for entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've avoided movies that do this. Like there's a very famous horror movie called Cannibal Holocaust, where
They eat people.
Well, no, they don't eat people, but they kill real animals on screen, and I'm not about that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I'm surprised PETA doesn't step in.
Well, this was probably for PETA.
This was a long time ago. It was the Wild West of horror movies.
Cinematography.
Exactly. So the snake thing sucks, but it is what it is.
Okay. Another one was the cop that talked to them, the one on the motorcycle. That guy cracked me up.
What was his role in the movie besides just showing
Just
up to
to
check on them?
heckle the kids, I guess.
So I was he introduces himself. His name is Sergeant Tierney. But I
Tierney.
thought for sure he was
Okay.
saying Sergeant Tyranny.
Yeah.
I was like, did they really just name this guy
Yes.
Sergeant Tyranny? That sounds like a
Hell
wrestler
yeah.
name.
Like
He's the jock in high school that became a cop and it went to his head. I'm Sergeant Tyranny.
yeah. Let's see, we already talked about Ralph hanging in the pantry.
Yeah, I don't have any more notes.
Monopoly. So I'm a
Strip
fan
Monopoly.
of Monopoly.
Strip Monopoly?
Yeah, I've never heard of Strip Monopoly. Like I've heard of like real life situations or like the term being so in debt that you lose the clothes on your back. Never would I have thought to apply that to Monopoly. I mean,
That's a whole nother meaning to Boardwalk.
yeah, like I've heard of strip poker. Monopoly like has been that is such a hilarious way to play it. And I'm not even like sure how that works.
They're like,
Because-
yeah, wait till you land on my hotels. You be ready.
Like, do they just ignore the money in the game and just pay it in clothes?
I mean, eventually you run out of clothes, though.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, they even made a comment like, "Oh, you lose one boot."
like I guess it because I love Monopoly, but the biggest problem with Monopoly is that it's hard to get people to play because it's such a long game.
I don't
so-
like Monopoly.
Yeah. So making it where you lose clothing instead, I guess would make it to where it's a much shorter game because you're going to run out of clothes a lot quicker than running out of money, going bankrupt. But it just a new twist on a game that I love on this. Alright. See here. And then the last thing was two things. One, when Brenna went looking for the voice calling for help.
Idiot.
Well, not really being an idiot. Like, okay, she's trying to help someone, but like the movie itself, for me, it was too dark. If I can't see anything, it doesn't really build tension for me.
I noticed that too, actually.
Also, you're watching the movie on a giant screen compared to the 1980s.
They
So-
watched it on a giant screen in
I
the
know.
theater.
My main comment I'm talking about is like it's really grainy, and that's because it's an older movie.
Yeah, it is grainy, but when everything is just black except for her flashlight,
Yeah, I get
Like-
it. I get it. They didn't think of lighting properly
yeah,
back then.
it killed the tension for me in that moment.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is actually just I really like the scenic views of the
Yeah.
movie. Like they did a great job of doing like panning of and showing Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nate, you had a question.
Yes, a question from the film that when they asked just left me baffled because it sounds like such a ridiculous question. And I wanted to ask you guys,
Okay.
what flavor ice cream would you say you are?
What?
That is a legit question they asked the characters in the movie, and my reaction was pretty much what you guys just said.
I know what flavor I am.
Okay.
I am pistachio ice cream because I enjoy it, but most people don't like pistachio ice cream. So I enjoy myself, but most people don't like me.
Okay, I think you think most people don't like you, but I will say that is a valid like answer. Like that's a pretty well thought answer.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. Think things.
Okay.
Ty, what flavor do you think you would be?
I don't know, vanilla, I guess. Because
I knew he was gonna say that.
We were talking earlier, and we're like, oh yeah, no, Ty, he ain't got no prep time. He's probably just gonna go with the vanilla. So for me, I would go with salted caramel, or caramel, as some other people would say it. Simply because I'm a salty individual. I like to complain about a lot of things.
You do.
But at the heart, I do like sweet things, like sentimental and emotional stuff. So salted caramel ice cream is probably what I would claim myself to be.
All right.
Okay. Well, in that vein, no theme song this week because we're running high on time. So
Speaking of
talkies.
flavors,
Yeah. Nate, who gets the yoo-hoo?
So this one's a tough one. I'm just gonna go with Bill, or not Bill. Ned.
Oh yeah,
He was
the Joker.
Yeah, he seemed to just like and having fun, even though some of his pranks were a little dangerous for my taste. But he seemed to be the fun-loving one in the group.
Who I think deserves the yoo-hoo is, I don't remember the dude's name, but I call him Creeper Stash, the dude who had to go back to
Steve
town.
Christie.
Yeah.
Steve.
And the guy who's just like, oh, I got these new counselors I gotta teach.
The guy who
he leaves, he comes back.
35-year-old
like,
Steve Christie?
Yeah, the guy who comes back is just like, what the hell's going on here? And then just immediately dies.
The guy who hires a bunch of people who don't really know what they're doing and then leaves them to do whatever.
Yeah, he needs a yoo-hoo, bro.
I like how he looks about 20 years older than everyone else.
Yeah.
So I call him Creeper Stash.
Okay.
But you're both wrong.
Oh no.
I'm gonna give the yoo-hoo to Dream Jason.
Are we talking Jason like kill him, mommy, or are we
little
talking
boy
about
Jason?
No, like Jason, he jumps out of the water. He probably needs a yoo-hoo.
Jason?
Okay.
He needs to hydrate his skin.
Exactly.
He's been in the water. He doesn't need to hydrate
He needs
his
to
Shut up,
skin.
hydrate
Nate.
his skin. He's been in the water with
That-
yoo-hoo.
Shut up, Nate. I think
I don't-
about it.
I can't.
Remember what I just said about thinking things through?
Yeah. That. I
Alright.
love that answer, but I highly disagree with it so much.
It's fine.
All right.
All right, so
Nate-
But before we get to our final ratings, we
Okay.
do actually have some last-minute comments.
Oh, okay.
Michael in our Discord posted a GIF of the jump scare with Jason jumping out of the water. Said scared the life out of me as a kid. Gibb says, "You mean he's still out there?" Michael says, "It's amazing how one of the most recognizable slasher villains isn't the main antagonist in the first film of the franchise." I agree with that.
Yeah, that is true.
It is strange.
And then
And we don't really see them until the end of the film, also.
Yeah. And then we don't see them like proper until the second movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our comments. We welcome all comments. If you want to comment, you can down in the YouTube section or the comment section. I don't have my thing pulled up. Sorry. It's a rush job today.
No
even though we're
worries.
over an hour. But yeah, you can comment us, email us. All those links and links to Lime Night stuff will be down in the description. Let's do final ratings, Nate.
I would give it about 2.5. The overall movie seemed like I'm still not really much of a horror film guy. And I'm also I like comedy. Not much in that. So yeah, 2.5 for me.
Raceland.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have to give it a 1 out of 5. I did not enjoy the movie. I was bored the entire time. And at least with Nightmare on Elm Street, it had an interesting story. This one, the story was just not there. It was just killer at the lake killing people. That's all it was.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, I think it's a good prototype. All right, we've reached the end of the show. What's up, Nate?
We did have some comments in the YouTube for Lake House. Texas Beef, I already listened on Spotify, but I'm realizing I missed out on the incredible vibe of Keanu and Sandra staring into each other's eyes throughout the whole podcast. And Soulfu Man, you watch Dracula and tell me Keanu Reeves is not a very good actor. We have accepted this challenge and put it on the list.
Awesome. Raceland, what's your pick for next week?
Next week, we're going to be watching Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. You can find it on HBO Max.
All right, perfect. Well, we're kind of in a bit of a hurry here, so thanks for listening. We'll see you next week with Tokyo Drift, and this has been What's Playing Tonight.